fine lass, eh? Now stop staring at her and come and see this. It's time for the trial by fire.
This is how they decided to characterize Henry in Kingdom Come Deliverance 1. This cutscene you were watching is from very beginning of the game. Does this scream gay to you? What about Henry's romance options? Nope. All of his romance encounters were women. Nowhere during the first game there was instance where you would find a hint that Henry is attracted to anything other than women. So, let's see how they decided to characterize Henry in Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Daniel Vavra himself have written this on his X account. KCD is an RPG. You are responsible for your decisions. If you want Henry to try a same-sex adventure, feel free. If you don't want to, you don't have to. All affairs are and were in KCD1 purely optional. The characters are perfectly aware that it was a forbidden sin. Meaning, Henry is now interested both in women and in men. And this cannot be considered as anything else than retcon. They did indeed retcon this aspect of Henry's character. I think I've proven this beyond reasonable doubt. So, now, let's try to figure out why they did this. Does this change bring such a quality improvement to a story of KCD2 that it justifies retconning? I don't think so. Does this change makes Henry's character so much more interesting to a point where it justifies retconning? Probably not. Or maybe Daniel Vavra just thought of his players that would enjoy this sort of thing, and he made retcon for purpose of pleasing this minority of players. That's possible. Or maybe he just wanted for journalists to stop giving his game negative press and he added this retcon to make them stop. Again, maybe. It's possible. The truth is, I don't know why he really did this, unless he will say it himself. But what I can say with certainty is that in his first attempt of addressing this controversy, he said that no one has tried to influence him as an artist in any way, and anyone who knows me knows I wouldn't let them anyway. 3-4. He at some point in development of KCD2 decided that retcon for Henry's partner preferences is needed, and so gay romance was added into the game. But in this case, then, he cannot be surprised when people see this retcon and start screaming at him political terms and mentioning DEI and other things. People are tired of games constantly pushing propaganda on their screens, and that is why now even when smallest hint of that propaganda will appear, people will go full monkey on the internet and start screaming at you. Just let me remind you how many games were destroyed like this. We have Mass Effect Andromeda, Dragon Age Veilguard, Last of Us 2, Borderlands 3 and many more. You get the point. I am sure you would be able to add some games into this list too. People's favorite franchises are ruined by activists pretending to be developers. And I am sure Vavra knows this too, and he decided to do this change anyway. Some people love KCD1, and when they saw this retcon and screenshots of the Musa character, they must have experienced pattern recognition induced PTSD caused by years of abuse, and then they lost their shit. You know how the saying goes, who plants wind will harvest storm and all that. Now, I would like to address the second part of the controversy that is surrounding KCD2. And there was this image of black guy speaking to Henry about how they treat women better in his land, which is understandable. The character is a Muslim, and so he will tell you about the Muslim beliefs. But of course, this rubbed many people in bad way because the screenshot looks very bad. Daniel Vavra said about mentioned character this on his X account. Musa came to Bohemia with an invading army as member of the royal court of King Sigismund, whom he met thanks to his engagement at the court of Sultan Bayezid. He is an educated noble and Renaissance man from the kingdom of Mali. At the same time, Musa is a very unusual figure for the local Bohemian folk, and many of the situations around him in the game stem from this. So his presence makes sense and creates a lot of interesting situations in the game. The way he talks and behaves has a reason. Everything displayed corresponds to the morals and social norms of 1403 Bohemia and is only there to make an interesting story and not at all appeal to a modern audience. If you are familiar with Daniel Vavra's tweets, you are probably familiar that he is priding himself on historical accuracy. So, let's see how historically accurate is for Musa being in medieval Bohemia. Also, I want to mention I am not an historian. All things I will mention are just things I tried to research myself. So if anybody have some counter evidence that proves me wrong, please let me know in the comments. Okay? With that said, let's begin. He is supposed to come to Bohemia with army of King Sigismund of Hungary as member of the royal court. Yet there is no direct well-documented record or mention in historical sources that King Sigismund of Hungary employed a Muslim physician at his court. Sigismund was supposed to meet Musa thanks to his engagement at court of Sultan Bayezid. There is possibility for that because Sigismund had dealings with Ottoman forces, especially during his military campaigns, such as Crusade of Nicopolis in 1396. There could have been interaction with Muslim physicians or scholars during these times, although direct employment at court isn't explicitly documented. So again, there is possibility that it could happen, but again, it is not documented anywhere. And also there is no documentations or historical record mentioning Sigismund employing any Muslim ever in his court or in his army, like none. Okay. Next is what he means by an engagement. Was Musa engaged with some noblewoman from Ottoman Empire? Or this reference just his job as court physician? First option is unlikely because the historical accounts of the Mali Empire, including those from Ibn Khaldun, Ibn Battuta, and Leo Africanus, predominantly discuss the empire's rulers, their policies, and the spread of Islam, but they do not mention marriages with foreign powers outside of West Africa. The Ottoman records discuss marriage practices within the empire, focusing on local and regional alliances, the role of women, and Islamic marriage customs, but do not extend to such a distant and culturally different entity like the Mali Empire. So unlikely in short. Second option, why not? It is possible. But probably there were no marriages between Mali and Ottoman nobles. Lastly, he is educated noble from Mali. Nobles and education. While the primary education of nobles would have been in governments, diplomacy, and warfare, the emphasis on Islamic learning meant that some nobles would have been educated in various sciences, including medicine. This education would have been part of broader Islamic education that included reading the Quran, law Sharia, and other sciences. Practical medicine. Nobles might not have practiced medicine themselves, but would have been patrons of physicians or have had physicians in their courts. The knowledge of medicine would be more for understanding health practices, managing health within their households, or perhaps as part of a broader education in the sciences that demonstrated their erudition and adherence to an Islamic learning. There are accounts from travelers like Ibn Battuta who visited during the Mali Empire, noting the scholarly environment of Timbuktu. While he does not specifically mention nobles being physicians, he does highlight the scholarly pursuits available, which would naturally include medicine given the Islamic scholarly tradition. This is why Musa running camp infirmary in Bohemia is very strange to me. So I have no problem with him being educated, but running camp infirmary in medieval Bohemia is the strange part to me, because nobles were not usually those who would practice medicine personally. They would be the patrons of physicians. So let's recap. We have Mali noble at court of King Sigismund of Hungary, who was never mentioned in historical records, which is strange, because if someone like that was present in a royal court, I think every source would mention him first. Next, we have no records of Sigismund employing a Muslim physician or any Muslim at all, not in his court or in his army, nor did he ever hire Muslim mercenaries. Or, let me rephrase this, if he ever did any of these things, it is not in the historical records. His presence is justified on Sigismund having dealings with Ottoman forces. Mali nobles usually did not practice medicine themselves, but were patrons for physicians. And this Mali physician is running camp infirmary in Bohemia, even though he is educated noble from Mali. If this is historically accurate presence according to Daniel Vavra, I am really getting afraid of what else we will see in his new game. So it is not historically accurate, but for fun. For fun and clarity, does this mean that it's absolutely impossible for someone like Musa being in medieval Bohemia? No, it is possible that someone like that could visit medieval Bohemia in this way, but we are stretching definition of possible to something that is technically not impossible. I mean, this is year 1403, this is where Mali is, and Musa here now needs to cross Sahara Desert, which is very dangerous endeavor in this period. And then he either takes directly ship to Istanbul or goes around off the Mediterranean coast to Istanbul. Then he needs to work at court for Bayezid until Sigismund will show up, and then this guy probably takes demotion from court of Bayezid to army infirmary in Bohemia to participate in the siege. Also, nobody capable of writing will mention the guy in the records. I hope game will have great explanation for this guy. I cannot wait. And honestly, maybe there will be good explanation and I will be fully satisfied with that. Who knows? We shall see when game will come out. But honestly, I think you see how ridiculous this is. At the beginning of this video, I did not want to render any accusation on the game because I really don't know what reasoning Daniel Vavra had when he was adding Musa and his retcon into a game. But I will tell you my theory now. Look, when he released KCD 1, he was grilled by journalists and political activists that he lacks gay people and black people in his game. And it is a very strange coincidence that now when KCD 2 is supposed to come out, that the two things that he added are the gay romance options for the main character, and the second thing he added is the black character from Mali. Like a really strange coincidence, don't you think? And so I think he probably just want game journalists to get off his back and stop giving his game negative publicity. So yeah, that was my theory. So lastly, I want to just address this controversy. Do I think this controversy will damage KCD2 as a game? Do I think this game will become unsuccessful because of this controversy? And the answer is no. I really don't think so. Just if you think about, for example, Baldur's Gate 3, that game was much more woke than this, and it was successful anyway because it was a good game. And when we look at KCD 2 and we see the trailer, the gameplay, it is something that really looks good. Gameplay looks interesting. Story is something I would like to experience personally. So I don't really think adding a gay romance option for Henry, even when it is a retcon, will be enough to ruin reputation of this game, you know? And the same, I think, is true for the Musa character. Just because there is one black guy in medieval Bohemia, I don't think people will stop buying a game. Maybe if I was writing this game now, I would maybe not put it into the Game of the Year category, but I would award it a lower tier, successful game tier. But yeah, that's it. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you want to support me, please like and subscribe. Thanks for watching and goodbye.